Good evening, everyone. We are in the Public Arts Select Committee of Wednesday, June 6th. Halfan Squalum, Quees Tuluk, Squamish, Awaomeo. Welcome to the traditional territory of the Squamish Nation. There is an agenda in front of the committee. I'm looking for a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Meg, seconded by Adrian. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We have minutes from our last meeting of May 2nd. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Meg, seconded by Sydney. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Were there any errors or omissions? I didn't see any. Nope. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Don't see any. So first up, we have business for 1, Truth and Reconciliation Artist Call number 2. Maybe we'll just do, Devin, a quick update on call number 1.
Yes, so call number 1 has gone out to Tsleil-Waututh and Squamish Nation communication email addresses, as well as a couple of others within those two nations' offices.
Did we get any response back saying thank you very much? Or
no,
like that?
I've placed a phone call to Squamish Nation. I also forwarded off to Alice and yourself in hopes that that would make its way to the list.
Yeah.
It's also gone up on Craigslist. There's ads in the newspaper in both the Chief and as well as the Peak for the next 2 weeks. To date, we haven't had any submissions, and I haven't had any inquiries about any submissions as well.
But it's only been a week and a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will close on June 15th.
We made quite a short. I'll follow up with some. I think I'll follow up with Squamish Nation just to make sure it's getting into the right hands.
Okay. Would you? I'll send you an email that you can.
Yeah. And so on to the next one.
We also, just on the first one as well, to update you, we haven't received word back from Squamish Savings on the status of the grant. So we followed up a couple of times, myself and Sydney. So we have put on hold the application for the second grant until we hear the status of the first.
Yeah. So in the meantime, we can go. Let's put this so close to me. In the meantime, we can go through this and fine tune it, although the amount may have to wait.
Vary. Yeah, so last meeting, we went through it. The version in front of you denotes those revisions. The only thing missing is the vision still that I didn't input because I've been focusing on getting number 1 out. So my apologies for that. Hi, there's a package for you right up there by Mare.
Hey, Spacey, what's up? So we were just talking about the first call that went out. Did it go out about 2 weeks ago now? When did that go out?
Give or take.
Yeah. And we sent it to the communications emails for Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh. Is there a specific way we should make sure we're getting info to the artists? Or what would be the best way to make sure the artists are aware of the proposal call?
Yeah, because sometimes we just do it at the band office and then just band
Doesn't
office.
go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll figure out. I think there's a Facebook page.
Squamish Nation Artists
Yeah,
Facebook page.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Yeah, and if I don't know if the nation has like a database of artists.
Yeah.
And if they would.
You go through. Used to be Christine Baker. I think it's Tracy Mitchell now.
Tracy Mitchell?
Tracy Mitchell. That's at the old band office, and I think it's 985-7711.
985-7711.
Yeah, if not, and then just call 980-4553 and they'll transfer you to
980-05.
4553.
Okay,
That's our main band office.
okay. So we'll follow up with phone calls and
Okay.
Yes.
make sure it gets out there. And so then we were just on to this one. We haven't heard back from Squamish Savings yet to confirm the funding for the first one, although we're hopeful. So we're going to go through proposal call number 2. So it's mostly all fine. The only piece that we want, you really need some feedback on is the vision piece.
Yes, and I need to apologize. I did get feedback from you guys and some direction on the vision piece. I just hadn't sat down to actually write it. That I had been focused on number 1, on getting the first one out. If you guys would like to re-review it, let's do so.
Okay. Did we determine that it should be Canadian artists, or were we open to
No, we were open to
anybody?
I might have printed off an old copy because I have changed it to all artists in North America.
Or even
This,
they'd obviously have to make it North America.
European.
Yeah, they could be Maori. They could be anywhere from anywhere.
Yeah.
African.
African, yeah. Although I suspect they'll be from Canada. It just says Canadian artists. Right?
Yes.
So. Do we want to quickly go through each one, or do we want to just focus in on the vision? Anything glaring in the introduction in the background?
Which one? This is
Yeah. Yeah. So we're not going to put the budget amount in there yet. And we'll finalize the dates.
Is there an extra copy?
Oh yeah. Is it? Do you not have a package?
Not in the package that I can see. Am I missing something?
You're missing something.
Thank you.
Cheers.
What was the resolution about Canadian artists or broader?
Yes, we just.
I think we just indicated we didn't want to necessarily specify either way. Totally up to committee, but I think we were going to not.
Remove Canadian from that?
Yeah.
A call to
Mhm.
artists, should speak
Yeah.
specifically to the United Street and Reconciliation.
Yeah. Yeah. We just weren't going to just say call to artists.
On background, it does say a collaborative project. Are we taking in projects that are just from one artist, or is it mandatory to be a collaboration?
It's totally up to the committee.
If we actually specify this, it seems to me, do we not have some latitude? I mean, if we get a really good non-collaborative one that we think, wow, does this mean that we can't accept it?
Probably means a really good thing won't be submitted.
Then is that a problem?
Yeah, yeah, I don't necessarily, I thought we had said we weren't gonna, we were certainly open to collaborative and that would certainly weigh in our decision making, but we didn't necessarily want to restrict it in that way. That's how I remember it. Everyone, yep.
Can I ask why it's got Tsleil-Waututh in it?
Just because technically they come into where the district, the Tsleil-Waututh territory comes into the edge of it. So even though 90% of our the government-to-government stuff happens with, we have to make referrals to Tsleil-Waututh because they come into the district of Squamish territory, technically. And I think it's on the east side of the district of Squamish. So we just didn't want to be discriminatory in that way. We're 99% Squamish territory, but there's a small portion that Tsleil-Waututh comes in. So that's the reason. We're just trying to be respectful. It's a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think that that's a problem, or?
I don't know. I don't know.
And that was
It just shocked me to see it in here.
and yeah, technically, because we have this branch of the district that goes out to Mamquam, the Tsleil-Waututh has territory that comes into the district of Squamish. But it's not a big part of the governance that we do, and there's no Tsleil-Waututh that live in Squamish. There's no reserves. It's just part of their territory. So we have to, on referrals and stuff like that, we have to send it to both Squamish Nation and Tsleil-Waututh. They just don't often respond on a lot of things because it's not of high interest to them.
Where does the seashell come to in terms of their claim? There it is.
Not sure. It doesn't come into the district of Squamish, and Squamish and Seashouts, there's sort of a,
I'm down the other side of Roberts Creek.
yeah, there's sort of a delineation on the Sunshine Coast that Squamish
So
is
often there's
the side.
overlapping stuff, kind of
Mhm.
thing is the only thing that I find interesting. Sometimes the hard lines are not.
I only figured out a couple years ago that Tsleil-Waututh was actually, the district was in what is their territory, what they have on their maps as their territory. And it's a very small portion, and it's somewhere out, I think there's a tiny bit on Howe Sound, and then it's out the Mamquam, something like that. That's my understanding.
So what's our vision look like?
Vision.
We cracked it
Yes,
one.
we were all supposed to write a vision, weren't we?
Yes.
It's so hard.
Yes.
Anne?
Well, I think at the last meeting, you had brought up the fact that there's a really well-written paragraph in the OCP.
Yeah, correct.
And that we were going to use a large portion of that as the basis of.
We happened to approve the OCP last night.
You certainly did. You certainly did. Some of the comments from last meeting was move style on understanding and collaboration, changes in mindset, truth to history, and reconciling the past. Oh, I'm not going crazy. I just missed, under background, I just missed deleting the Canadian part. I had adjusted it under eligibility, where it said this opportunity is open to any artist. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a
Yeah.
reference on the very first page.
Yes.
And there's a reference there.
Thanks for catching that. I'm just glad I didn't print off the wrong copy, so that was a bit of validation of it. We'd also watched that video clip as well, and had drawn quite a few words from that had to do with the healing of relationships, connection, validation, reflection, resilience, celebration, respect. These were all words that were pulled out of the
Out of that video.
the video clip that we watched.
Oh, at the beginning of the.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's some stuff that can be pulled right out of our OCP, and maybe that's even a good way to frame it. Should we, we'll just leave that maybe for Devin and I to pair out some of that. I mean, the vision is kind of outlined already in the introduction, and other than the vision is a statement piece, or, you know, not necessarily the background and stuff, but the impact of what we're hoping to achieve through this would be more along the vision. Yeah.
I would like to see the vision statement as being something a little more succinct, that we actually have the OCP, you know, as a reference, as part of that includes in the call for, so that there's a larger explanation of how this fits into the OCP for the community.
Mhm.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, the official vision of the.
So that it's not just wholesale lifted from the OCP and plunked into this.
Mhm.
That this is a little bit snappier and shorter.
Mhm. Okay, yeah,
I can do that
it can, yeah, it can even be a link within the
for
call,
reference, yeah.
the OCP. What's that?
New technology.
Crazy. So working on the vision, yeah, it should be 1 or 2 sentences about, not specifically about the outcome, but the impact of the outcome for the community. I like what Anne said there about the keywords we pulled out of the video.
Yeah. We're honoring the process, I would believe, I
Mhm.
think. And, you know,
That was actually something that the elders really spoke to was, and I'm not sure if it's in here, but honoring the artistic process from the moment the tree is, you know, and I think we put that in the other.
We did, we
proposal,
spoke
yeah.
to it quite specifically in the other one. I
That's
don't
right.
know that I was as direct in this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always hard for committees to work on vision statements. Can you just say what you paired out of that?
so some of the key words that struck me from listening to that clip were about recognition, engagement, reframing of a shared history, connection, validation, reflection, resilience, celebration, respect, acknowledging the past, and the word journey also came across many times. And these are just, they're not in any specific order, they were just words that I pulled out while I was listening. And I think overall, in the writing around truth and reconciliation, the key piece is healing of relationships, I would say. And so somewhere in that vision, I would hope that we could communicate that the essence of the piece really needs to reflect that.
Okay, that's great. Maybe what we'll do is, we'll work on a vision statement. I'll send it out to everyone for comment.
Yeah, how about I draft something and I'll email it out to the committee. I'll email the vision statement out in the body of the email and attach the rest of the document.
Okay. That's good. And eligibility open to all artists or teams of artists, collaborations. I think all that stuff's fine. think all that, the art medium is fine, I don't think anything needs to be changed there. Budget, we'll have to figure that out.
I think I'd also mentioned, was wondering if we would want to include a piece that has to do with the maintenance of the piece, like if they can suggest
Yeah.
how much it'll
Outline.
cost, or, yeah.
Outlining any maintenance issues that may be needed to be budgeted in future
Yeah.
years or something like that.
I can put that in the, it's mentioned in the selection process, but I will ask them to submit something specific with regards to maintenance.
And then I think really depending on when we finalize the budget, we'll be able to finalize deadlines.
I agree.
And all that other stuff is boilerplate pretty much, the last parts.
Yes.
That work for everybody?
Good for me.
So we'll get a draft vision out there and then we can get feedback from the committee over.
Yeah.
email.
Thank you for the feedback.
Okay. Everyone's good to move on? Okay. Next we have review of public art application.
So the Public Art Committee has received a requested application. It was in your packages that went out. If you haven't had a chance to review it, please flip to one of the pages. The ask is for $2,500. The cost that they have provided us would be a boom lift for $750 a day, paint materials of $3,000, and artist costs $5,000. The artist is Jessa Gilbert, and the location is for Cleveland Avenue.
It's up there.
Yes. The exact address is in your package.
Is that our parking lot or is that the other parking lot along that?
I don't even know where that is.
That's the Lotus Gardens building,
Yeah.
soon to be the Gringo's Taco Place.
Oh. There we go.
I mean,
This is the side of Invis and Lotus is behind.
Yes.
Right.
oh, okay, so this is the other side.
The
Yeah.
other, yeah, so Lotus would be to your back if you're taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So this is the landlord has given permission. This is spurred on by Sea to Sky Art House, which is already open and operational. The owner, Hank Hassing Liu, apologies, is looking to have the artist Jessa Gilbert create a mural on the side. Here are some artist renderings. I'll just flip back and forth between these two. And so, as I said, the request is $2,500. They are seeking additional sponsorship and are out in the community actively looking.
What's the address again?
The address is 38166 Cleveland Avenue.
Oh yeah, the municipal parking lot is on the other side. No, this is the municipal parking lot. Yeah. Looking south, okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is the, you guys know where the municipal parking lot is on that block?
Yeah. It's the one that backs on the little square, yeah? with-
Yeah, it's got the checkerboard out front.
Yeah.
So the Sea to Sky Art House is formerly the InViz Inspired Gallery?
I believe so,
Yeah.
yeah.
The district has no plans to do anything with that parking lot? currently?
Nope, I don't think we're allowed to. It was granted to us, and we can't do anything except public infrastructure on that. So I don't believe we looked at it, to be honest, we looked at it.
So that's the future home of the new arts center and theater? Is
Could
that public
be.
infrastructure?
It could be, I can't remember, there was some, there were parameters around what we could use it for. We can't just sell it, for example. Anyway, how much money do we have in our small projects? 15?
15, and to date, you've spent between $250 and $500 on a grant to the Squamish Arts Council.
Money well spent.
Money well spent.
Your thoughts, yeah?
Do we have a process so that other people who might have projects can actually come through the door and we actually look
This
at
is the process.
in conjunction with, so this is the only response we've had to it?
We've had one or two last year. We've had a couple.
Things like the alternative school mural and again the
Mural
SAC
festival.
Mural Festival exactly have
Yeah.
gone through this process.
But it's an ad hoc process.
It's an ad hoc process, it's just open. people
Whoever
make
gets
an
there
application.
first and we hit the limit of whatever
Pretty
money
much.
is and that's it.
I have just in conversations around town referred people to the process.
Mhm.
Again, Squandra Mural Festival is looking to start up again, so
Mhm.
I don't know if that means more, we'll see more, but I'd encourage people to look into this process. So.
Yeah. And the request is for 2,500. You
Could
know,
be.
council can give all, council, committee can say yes to all of it, or say yes to some of it, or say no, obviously.
I mean, even if we say yes to all of it, we should at least make sure that it's in kind, so that they at least are putting $5,000 or can provably say they're putting $5,000 or at least into the mural.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's done by the gentleman who owns the company or other sponsors, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm, and yeah, I don't, I'm trying to remember, I'm just pulling it up again. The budget was, boom lift,
Yeah, they have way more.
paint material, so
They're
they're
looking at least $10,000.
looking at 10 grand.
I've provided the feedback to the applicant that $750 a day for a boom lift is astronomical, and that they could probably source out a better
I was wondering that myself.
cost-effective
Yeah.
option, so.
I don't know what kind of boom lift to need for $750 a day. Seems like a lot.
Yeah, I would think that there's some additional quotes that they
Well,
can
and,
source.
and how many days do they need the boom lift?
$750 a day, they should probably buy one.
Well, why not just put
Well, and
scaffolding
if it's gonna
up?
be completed by June 23rd.
In the parking
I
lot?
wouldn't mind.
Don't we
making
need the parking?
$5,000 in the next week or two.
I don't think that parking lot's full.
Did you spend money for business for a while?
Thoughts on this application?
I've placed the renderings up on the,
And they haven't chosen which one yet? No.
Very visible.
Yeah, they both look great, like fun.
What I like about them, they're both visible from people who are coming south down Cleveland and going down Loggers Lane.
Yeah.
So it really is a
Yeah,
showcase
ties.
kind of thing for
Yeah,
the- for
ties.
the community a little bit.
The thing I like about it is, it's really visible, as you said, and it'll start to
Start
get people
thinking.
talking, and other business and building owners maybe to start thinking that way too. I guess I'm thinking the committee wants to help support this generally. I haven't heard anything against it. We have the money to do this right now, but it's all depending on if we want to make sure we're keeping money for others. So,
Is it $15,000 or $1,500 that we have?
you have 15,000 at the time. You also have your maintenance budget. So I mean, if you look at it, Nothing has been spent nor will be spent out of the maintenance budget unless directed from public art. The Stan Clarke Park Mosaic has been taken care of within the ops budget.
Yeah.
And the pressure washing of the stones in Junction Park gets absorbed by operations as well.
Yeah.
So there's nothing at this point to actively maintain.
So I would support this.
Are they looking for input from the committee?
I think they're looking for money.
Why, what's your input?
Just that I really like both of them, but it would be great to see kind of a combination of the two. Like, I like the bottom one better, but I don't like the fact that it's mostly pink and purple, you know? But,
I prefer the top one.
I was gonna say the same thing. My concern comes to more materials than anything.
yeah. Well, I like I said, I would prefer if it was blues and more blues like the top one, but I like the bottom one because it's kind of more whimsical rather than just normal. But
Yeah.
In crappy weather, the bottom one stands out a lot better than the top one.
Right,
Foggy, rainy
right.
weather.
I don't think they're asking for our opinion on the
that's okay.
artistic
No,
merit.
it's just,
They're asking for our money.
Yeah.
if they give us two options,
Yeah.
what do you expect, you know?
Exactly. So, Adrian, do you want to put forward a motion that we support
Yeah,
it
I'd
to
like
$2,500?
Yeah, and I would add in kind if possible, make sure that they're putting at least $5,000 into it. Because as according to their budget, they are, but who knows what happens between now and June 23rd? And then planning finished.
Can I clarify what you mean by in-kind?
I think I just want to make sure that the overall budget we're not providing more than, we want to be providing less than half of the money overall put into it.
So you're asking to see invoices, basically.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Is that a tough thing to do?
No, I know. I don't think
Okay.
it's, no, not at all.
I don't know. Let me know if that's
No.
any sort of bad thing to ask for.
Quotes or invoices? That would be like during granting procedures, you have to report back how you spend the funds and show proof, and that's
Right.
the
Right.
That sort of
Budget.
seems,
Yeah.
I mean, that it only seems responsible to make sure that they're spending the money the way they say they are and doing the job to the level that they're saying they are.
Anne?
I don't know, I think it wouldn't be unreasonable also to ask them to clarify the budget and to fine tune it a little bit based on some of the,
I think, I mean,
Hard to getting
the
into.
reality is if we're putting for 25% of it, then that's, I'm not worried, like if they're actually gonna do it with quality, with.
Well, it sounds like
quality
they're
and
clear coat,
longevity.
they're coating it, and it was,
They say that we're putting primer on it, but, you know, whether or not they're clear coating it afterwards.
I thought it said they were
that?
clear.
Yeah,
I
it's
may
at
have,
the-
may have missed something here.
Paying for the wall will be primed, waterproof paint.
Yeah,
So
so that
paint needs to be
doesn't mean
hard.
they're not gonna clear coat it afterwards. That's what that means.
I do know that this artist has been successfully a couple in Europe, at least one that I know of in Whistler. That's
Okay.
a really big one. So she was hired either by the municipality. I'm looking at this maybe now, but
no.
okay.
Yeah.
Made by the municipality or another organization to paint. Actually, there's a picture of her. It's the underpass in Whistler, right there. So I mean, I can only speak to the artist's
Yeah.
ability to have done this in the past.
And it's good, my fear is that, you know, an underpass has much more coverage, less wear from the environment. Otherwise, I just don't want to see us in 2 years looking at it being like, oh, it's all come off.
Yeah.
All falling apart. But that's not something we can really handle, so I'd say we support it to $2,500. So I'd like to put a motion for it, I guess. Just support
Moved
this.
by Adrian, seconded by Meg,
Can I just clarify the motion, sorry? The
that,
Public Art Committee grant $2,500 to the applicant based on clarification of the quote and
I think you just say granted, and funds,
Granted based on the submission of final invoices.
okay.
No? Too constrictive?
I don't, Don't
Why we expect a report?
Why not, no, don't expect anything, because it's, after it's done, then it's kind of like, whatever.
Well, I think, to be honest, I mean, they're gonna go out and try to find money to do this. They're gonna try to get someone to
Pre-paint.
sponsor paint.
Yeah.
The artist is gonna spend way more than $5,000 worth of time on this.
Well, it's only 2 weeks. 3
Yeah,
weeks.
it's only, yeah.
They only
I
have 3 weeks
was
to do
thinking
it,
less.
which is why it's kind of.
I bet you there's gonna be more than one artist there though, painter. To do that in 2 weeks, that's a lot of paint.
That's why I don't really
It says-
understand the whole, that's the sort of hole in the whole, whatever you call it, application.
And to be honest, I don't mind if we pay the artist a little bit to do this too, right?
You don't have to do that.
I think, I just don't know how, like, we wanna be diligent, but I don't know how
I just, I just
fussy we
don't
wanna
want to
be.
try to check for it and them to not really do what they
Yeah.
say they're gonna do.
Yeah,
I've seen it before. I don't know if we want to apply this in this situation. I've seen it before with larger grants where there's a holdback pending reporting. So you define the ratio, you give 75-90% of the funding, and then the rest is pending a report, and that you've executed on what you said you're going to deliver on. And then you just cut the rest after
Mhm.
It
project.
feels a little small to do that though. It's
Yeah,
like,
5 weeks, yeah.
I don't think.
But I think it's
to-
really important.
it's a
to
really
to be
Yeah,
honest,
understand.
you're
Yeah.
dealing with taxpayer money.
Good point.
And we've had situations where we've given grants and never delivered on a festival, never delivered on some stuff. So having some sort of reporting, I think is important. So maybe the motion is grant $2,500.
2,000 upfront, 500 upon receiving a report to complete the project.
Or even just, quotes that they're paying. I mean,
Those are two different outcomes,
But does it really
right?
matter?
no, well, that's what I'm saying, is that I'm happy with giving them the entire amount of money,
Yeah.
but I just feel like in the idea of being responsible fiscally for trying to actually create art, as long as it gets created, I'm happy.
What about 50/50 or 75/25?
Yeah, what about 50/50? Because that's typical, that is completely typical
Yeah.
if you're doing a large painting commission is to ask for 50% and then, like, I mean, I know this is a different situation, we're granting the money, but I would,
I think 50/50 is fair.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Is that a bit more clear, Sarah?
So to clarify, upon successful motion,
Yeah,
we will cut a check for them for 50% of it up front, and then completion is defined by a mural up on the wall.
yeah.
Understood.
Do you want a mural as per,
Yeah.
similar to as per the application?
Sure.
I don't
Sydney trained in law, so yes.
Yeah, not a postage stamp on the corner. Yeah.
We're just gonna wrap the building.
Is that okay, Sarah?
So the Public Art Committee grant $2,500 to the applicant for the completion of a mural, 50% to be paid up front and 50% to be paid on completion of the project.
As defined by, or as,
I think completion of the project, I think if they do a postage stamp, we don't pay them the rest.
understood.
Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Staff updates? Budget?
We've chatted about it, but I just wanted to, I've got a running total.
Okay.
So we've granted $500 to the Squamish Arts Council. I think it was 500,
Yeah. And now 2,500.
and now 2,500.
And so we have 1,250 left in minor projects and 10K sugar left in maintenance.
12,000.
Correct.
12, what did I say?
You said 12,000.
Yeah, 12,500. Thank you.
Yeah, so-
I
Okay,
knew where you were going. Stan Clarke Park, I just wanted to provide, if anyone.
Has everyone seen it?
If no one had a chance to go out and take a
I
look
think it
at
looks pretty good.
I haven't seen it, but.
That's what it looks like.
I'll go see it after the meeting.
Excellent.
Yeah. Quite a few portions were removed successfully in their original squares, and
Okay.
so they're sitting at ops right now, waiting for direction on where to place them. We're waiting on the recommendation from the planner who designed the park to come to the committee to
Perfect.
show us the layout.
That would be great. How's that sound?
And is there going to be some kind of a plaque explaining what's going on?
Would you like there to be a plaque?
I think-
I thought we actually talked about that.
Yeah, and-
Yeah, we did. We
Yeah, it would be good to do some sort of plaque with just a couple sentences explaining the original project and, yeah,
And just the upgrade,
yeah.
you know, thing.
You bet.
Because we actually talked about having a photograph of the whole thing too, actually on that. So
Either-
we can
yeah.
see that. I just think some recognition, some explanation of what's going on there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
would be useful.
So we'll work on that.
And the other thing I think too is that if anybody's got a project that they want to use that as a canvas to connect, you know, a
Exactly.
project with kids, you know, that kind of stuff too, I think that would be pretty cool to do something.
I'll also mention it to the daycare just across the street, that they're more than welcome to go and use chalk.
Why not? I was gonna do that at midnight.
But didn't we talk about painting it?
We talked
Rainbow?
about tinting the
Yeah,
cement
yeah,
and painting
yeah,
it, and then we thought, we'll just do this, we'll put
Yeah.
the canvas down and.
Yeah.
The logistics of actually tinting the concrete meant that it would have to be done in sections, which
right.
meant that there's going to be more opportunity for water to get into it and damage it further. So at that point, what he's done is he's just done the finishing lines around the same way concrete
Yes.
normally has that.
Yeah.
So it minimizes the potential for damage.
Yeah, yeah.
And the color, the available color of dyed concrete didn't match the expectation
Yeah.
of what.
Yeah, it would have been pastel-y and.
Yeah.
And what about when eventually the rainbow crosswalks need to be repainted?
We could do it there,
Do
yeah.
these at the same time?
Those ones are supposed to last 8 to 10 years, so we've got 6 more years at least, hopefully.
See how that goes.
What's that?
We'll see how that goes.
Well, it all depends on the winter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to be skeptical.
It's okay, we need somebody like that.
No, believe me, some of those, like that same paint is what we've used on some of our the green bike lanes, and it's already coming up in spots. It's not as good as it advertises. Okay, we've got a bit of a closed piece, so
Sorry,
motion.
before we motion to close, did you want to talk about private development contributions as per the email that you asked to circulate, or do you want to do that afterwards?
What I thought we'd do that afterwards.
Sure, do that.
And really, I think it's part of a conversation about the public art policy.
Yes.
And so we'll put that on the next agenda.
Okay.
And the terms of reference for the committee, just because we've never readdressed them since we
Did them?
did them. So we'll put that on the next agenda. And we'll add Heidi's comments to that, and maybe she'll be back. And
You bet.
okay, motion to close. Moved by Meg, seconded by Toby. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we are back in our committee meeting. There is no status of recommendations to council and no referrals from council. Roundtable discussion. Anyone? Yeah.
This is art related, Turtle Trail related. We did a ride around. There were 11 of us, 6 were kids. 3 of them were in carriers and 3 of them were on bicycles. The kids on bicycles were aged 6 to about 9. It went extremely well. It was really pretty cool. Couple of things art related. We met by Corsa Cycles, and the little ones were totally intrigued by the salmon and wanted to feed rocks to the salmon, which the parents didn't let them do. But what was cool was actually having something like that there that appealed to the little ones, so the kids weren't quite as inclined to run into traffic and the parents running after them kind of thing. So that was cool. The other thing, after we did most of the ride around, when we got to Brennan Park, it was time for a break. Kids were pretty tired, they need bribery, ice cream and all that good kind of stuff for other reasons going down the far side, but that's not of concern to this committee. But what was interesting when we got to Brennan Park was as soon as we saw the logging exhibits there, boom, all the kids were out of the carriers and the bikes were down on the grass and the kids were running around and they made a beeline to the logging equipment and Dad was there as well. So they were going up and down and crawling all over it and having a great time, and Dad was actually reading the signs, which was really cool. And it made me think that maybe when we're designing the interpretive piece or the wayfinding piece or whatever, that we think about, is there some way we could perhaps commission an art piece that would be a play area for kids to go over and under using
An
blocks or
interactive
something
type.
like that. So I wanted to kind of drop that idea to you because I think it would be an added attraction, and it would not only is this community about logging, but also, you know, art and that kind of stuff as well. So that was pretty cool.
And the whole idea of interactive art with kids is fantastic.
Yeah, I think we could do some more of that because there's a heck of a baby boom in town. I don't know if anybody's noticed, you know, it really is.
We put something in the water, you know.
I forgot maybe what it is. The other question that I had for the committee, would you like to hear an update, I'm thinking September, on the Turtle Trail and the interpretive piece, because I haven't got it together. It would give me a deadline to work towards, and the opportunities
We're here for you, Meg.
of
We're here for you,
artists.
Meg.
Yes, I want to see an update.
In September.
In September is what I'm thinking, but well, I don't think I'll get it together, to be honest with you, before that. So if the show and tell kind of thing,
Okay, we'll put it on in September.
that would be a...
Or October,
And
depending.
just again, like where's the physical trail, where's the wayfinding, and then what's the interpretive piece kind of thing. And again, it's kind of like that. What I'm going to do, it's not going to be all the colors and all the artwork, it's going to be what's the framework, you know, like for this, what is the concept of this, and so that you guys can see that. And I thought we are going into an election cycle, so I would like to get that piece before this current council, because they've been really good about supporting this project.
Sounds good. Excellent. Anyone else? Yep, good, Toby.
I was contacted by a volunteer that's doing some helping out up at Hilltop House. And apparently there is a courtyard that's called Paradise Gardens or something like that. I don't know if anybody's seen it. And she said it looks anything but like paradise, and that there is some sort of wall, concrete wall or something that's paintable that would be a really good spot for some artwork, some public art. So, and I had thought about maybe it would be a good project for you know, for a youth camp or something like that. But you guys have chosen your
Got a
your
spot
locations.
this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that, but it's good to know.
So it may be worth, first question would be to Hilltop House, or VCH or whoever, can we paint there? So maybe that's just an inquiry Devin can make. And then, sorry, go on, I just wanted to.
Well, I mean, maybe that's a question to just ask them.
That's what I'm saying, Devin will call VCH or Hilltop.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And say, hey, this was brought to the Public Art Committee. We
And-
gather there's a
and
wall in
so-
the garden.
So this volunteer was a new volunteer, and it's Sherry, Rick Morgan's, Sherry.
Oh, okay.
Curly red hair.
Mhm.
I forget her last name.
Mhm.
Anyway, so she just came to me because she knew that I'd been involved in public art and murals and stuff before, and was an artist. So she said that they may be able to get some funds together to maybe pay for some paint, but it would be good to, you know, get an artist, you know, to pay an artist to do something
Yeah.
as well.
I'll also mention it to Stan. It could be
Yeah, it could be something.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really public, the thing, I guess, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's not really considered public because it's within the building.
Right.
Access to it is within the building, so,
It's not accessible by the public.
yeah, so, anyway, so I don't know, maybe it's nothing, maybe,
I'll go check it out
Yeah.
and make a phone call.
Yeah.
okay.
A lot of, and I brought this to the committee a couple of months ago, a lot of hospital foundations have really progressive public art programs within their hospitals. For example, Seashell. And I had some pictures and a postcard that brought to the committee. And I did mention it to a couple of the board members on the hospital foundation. But it may be worthwhile to be more direct with them. So we may want to think about how we may do that in terms of either a direct correspondence from the Public Art Committee or invite them to a committee meeting to talk about how to augment public art within the hospital, or start a public art program within the hospital environment. Some of the public art, Swayze is not here, but particularly First Nations art in the Seashell Hospital is fantastic. Any thoughts on that? Yep.
I'm just wondering again, our public art map is sort of, we haven't talked about it very much. How up to date is it, that kind of thing. I was also thinking because the Mosaic has actually changed, so is it appropriate to go in there and do that? And if we're really trying to showcase what kind of art there is around, and if the hospital has some really cool kind of thing, and then does that get included
Yeah.
as a public institution as opposed to?
I don't know if you can scroll down. Yeah, and that pulling together one, I think, was a commissioned piece that the Hospital Foundation Art Program commissioned. Anyway, kind of cool, yeah.
I would love to volunteer to do a research on what's being done right now and maybe do a show and tell to the committee or put a package together that we then can bring to the hospital foundation. Or
That would be awesome. Yeah. Totems outside the front.
I was just researching this recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's some really exciting stuff happening in the States in particular with
Mhm.
hospital foundations.
Yeah, actually, so if you want to put something together, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Awesome, fantastic, homework, good, you just like doing work now as a student. You're a student. Yeah, all right, anything else? Yep.
I've got a couple updates from Arts Council. So Street Banners went up. I don't know if anyone saw them that was celebrated Wind Festival with Sarah Sign's artwork. So those are all up now.
I'm not sure, we chose it last,
We
okay.
talked about it last meeting.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. And just another quick mention from our youth. So our youth scholarship for art is open. That includes the public art camp. Until June 17th. Yeah. And so that's open. So if you guys know any youth in the community that are in need of funding and want to attend an art camp, it doesn't have to be an arts council camp. It can be any art opportunity. So all the guidelines are on the Arts Council website. And we just got away from a Sea to Sky Arts Council meeting. So the Sea to Sky Arts Councils meet every 2 months or so and talk about corridor strategic alignment and try to make sure that we're cultivating arts and culture through the corridor. And this idea came up about, I'm going to probably say this wrong because it's a French word, but 21 balançoires. They're swings. Yeah, okay. And they're swing set in Montreal. That and where the public sits on them, they
makes music.
And it harmonizes, and you can do such crazy.
We brought it to the very first Public Art Committee meeting, we talked about it, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So some of the arts councils, all of them are interested in touring this piece. So there might be potential cross collect, not this year, I think it's a little too late for the summer, but.
And they were at bus stops, like they were waiting at bus stops. You got to
Yeah.
sit in a swing and make music when you swung on the swing.
Yep.
It was very cool.
Yeah, so I've had a conversation with them and the artists who own this installation, and they said we can talk about shipping the big one and touring it, or they can do smaller units as well.
Here, it's up on the.
Oh, perfect. And yeah, so there might be in 2019.
With no sound though, unfortunately.
Yes, they make colonial music.
Yeah, they were bus stops. Cool, eh?
We ended up spending about an hour and a half here. I think it's amazing and it's a really, really cool experience to be able to make music with your entire body.
Try singing sometime, you're making music.
Yeah.
We tried to figure out if we all went together at the same time, we would change the music. And it did. Definitely felt like the tempo was moving with us, and it felt like almost like plucking or strumming, like a harp.
It's so cool, eh?
So yeah, so in I just wanted to flag this for the committee's attention because there's talk about potentially touring that. We could go Pemberton or Squamish, both islands.
Do we have any sense of cost, time?
So not quite yet. I did circle back with the artists. I tried to get smaller installation for the Wind Festival, and $3,000 wasn't enough for a single set. So what it includes is like they would need to ship it out, and then they would need to ship a person out here, and the person would need to like set up. What we talked about in a sense where it would be a touring thing would be that technical person who would install, do like all the wiring or whatever needs to be done, would actually teach somebody here, and then that person would use what it says at each locations, so that their person doesn't have to stay here an entire season.
That's cool. Well, it'd be cool just to have it stay.
Or we can have six so there might be leverage with the other communities and maybe with the arts councils and their particular programs, but also with the other, there's other public arts authorities in these communities as well. It's an opportunity.
That's awesome.
Regional projects. And then I don't know if now's just to bring up about our call to artists in terms of timeline and how the youth component will sort of all work into this. I don't know if it's a community discussion or a breakup discussion, but I guess I just would be looking for direction on when that might happen. When should we plan for this?
Well, let's see what we get in terms of applications
Responses,
back,
Sure.
and then we can evaluate and go from there.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, awesome. We're good? Yeah.
Just an announcement that we just hung a new show at the Foyer Gallery, and it's an international
On a
artist.
Tuesday night.
Yep.
On a Tuesday night.
It's on a Saturday afternoon, 1 to 2 p.m. Next Saturday, June 16th, 1 to 2 p.m.
Oh, good job.
Linda Maximenko is making her world famous chocolate cake, gluten-free chocolate cake, and she's got her weavings, multiple different kinds of weavings, and Pepe Hildago is an international artist born in Spain, in Madrid, and his pieces are up as well. His figurative / realism / surrealism / whatever pieces. So check them out, they're really cool. Yeah, so Saturday afternoon.
Good job.
No excuse.
This Saturday?
Next Saturday.
Okay, so
Next
the
Saturday.
15th, 16th?
16th, June 16th.
Fabulous. Awesome. Are we done? Nope. You have
I
one
just,
more?
one more. I just wanted to say a huge kudos to the Arts Council for your newsletter. You guys rock. Yeah, it's just really impressive. So, is it? Well, there you go. The right person is here. Yeah. Do you want to try and coach some other groups and stuff too? To use some of that?
Sure.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Awesome. I will entertain a motion to terminate the meeting. Meg, Adrian, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Sarah.